welcome back to Y&R For Life, where we talk about all things Y&R related. We talk about what's going on, my predictions, what I think's going to happen. Hey, we even talk about fashion on the show from time to time because I'm a big time fashion girl, so we got to spill the tea about that. If you're new to this channel, my question is, what took you so long to get here? And if you are returning, what's up? Long time no see. Was it just me, or was this week once again just boring? I mean, I don't know. It I don't know. Is it going to get better? I'm only hoping, cross my fingers, cross my toes, cross my arms, whatever, that the new people that they're bringing in, that they will bring a little bit of more spice to the show, because right now it's kind of falling flat. We're going to get into whatever we can, because as I said, this week just, to me, it really fell flat. But okay. Couple of disclaimers: if you don't want to know what's going on, you kind of want to get caught up on your own, this may not be what you want to see or hear, but I am so grateful that you are here. And if I happen to not mention something in particular, it could be because I plumb forgot, or it really just wasn't newsworthy in my opinion, so I didn't bother mentioning it. It is what it is, nature of the beast. That's what I like to say. And lastly, if you do like what you see, you like what you hear, it would be so kind if you hit that like and subscribe button, and also the bell notification, so that you don't miss a single video that I post here on Y&R For Life. Okay, before we get into it, yes, I still have some sort of cold. Uh, I'm telling you, the last couple of days, it was awful. Um, yeah, I had like sinus pressure, the whole 9 yards, but I'm so grateful that that part is gone. And I'm feeling technically better than I was. Okay, so that's why I sound very nasally, okay? We're getting the elephant right out the room. So now let's get into our regular scheduled programming. All right, so the beginning of this week, we started off with Sally and Audra sitting down, just commiserating over the fact of this failed Abbott communication launch. Well, basically, Sally was telling Audra, you know what, the deal is off, the gig's up, you know, Billy, he's a madman, and nothing's happening with Abbott communication. It's basically squashed. Okay, so Audra's like, what? So then now the two of them start this little, brainstorming thing where Audra basically brings up the fact that she had her, I think it was 1950s type dress, all ready to go for the launch. But since that was snafu'd, maybe the two of them can come together and basically come up with some sort of, like, I don't know, thrift type shop, if you will. Yeah, I guess that was a little bit of a funny. Maybe Audra was kind of serious about it, but Sally was like, yeah, no. So those were those two. We'll circle back with them very shortly. Meanwhile, Billy is again going around. He's like weary, wounded, and sad, and he's trying to figure out, of course, how he can mend his relationship with Sally. Because if you recall, Sally was like, "Don't contact me. Hit the road, get the step in," and Billy, like a little lost puppy, was, dragging behind her heels. He's wanting her to, albeit, come back home and move in with him. Billy, once again, you don't need anybody to move in with you. You need to, like, stay by yourself, because you're crazy. Like, he just looks like he's sweating all the time, because he's so much after this feeling of power, this power position, that once he gets the fever for that kind of I guess standing, if you will, he's like, he just, anybody in his way, he wants to, like, mow them over, Sally included. I gotta say, this week I just looked at her with, like, Because later on, you see where he asks her to meet up with him, and she goes. And he then, like jam on toast. He's just laying it on, maybe more like peanut butter. And he's just laying it on thick about how, he just doesn't want his relationship with her ruined, and his focus is off of Chancellor, and you know what, his focus is on her and their betterment. And again, Sally, I don't know. You fell for his mumbo jumbo hook, line, and sinker, so much so that you got all, hot and heavy with him. Yeah. Oh, and it was at the club. And apparently she never gave up her room. Well, okay. So the two of them get hot and heavy on the bed at the club, and all's well with the world. So now he's already going on about how he's going to get Abbott Communications off the ground. He's going to go back to Jack. Big mistake. So Sally, of course, is like, she's just loving the fact that the two of them were back together. They're intimate. She really loves him. Ugh. Again, Sally, this is your own little public service announcement. Billy is not going to change. You don't need that. But if you choose to be with that, that's on you, because he's going to do something silly once again. And yeah, you're going to be in the mud with him. And then what will you have? And then Sally's like, okay, well, she tells Audra all of this, that everything is going to go back, hopefully, to the way it was with, Abbott Communication, and maybe they can actually launch this. And she's telling Audra that, she'll be her second in command. And she'll put it on her contract, and what a mess. I mean, apparently Billy is going to be the COO. What is up with all these titles? Everybody is like on a power trip. CEO, COO. Oh, I don't know if I've even seen anybody there be a CFO, but okay, whatever. And Audra's like, I don't know. Here's where I give Audra a little props for saying, I don't know. Yeah, that, you need to stick with that thought process, because this is going to go down fast in flames. And Billy went to Jack, and Jack basically told him, sorry, no can do. Can't help you out. And Billy was like, what? Yeah, I know I made a mistake, but like, okay, let's backtrack, shall we? Billy, you told Jack to basically, he could hit the bricks and take his money and go right up the rear, and now you want him to take that pool stick out of the rear and help you? Are you crazy? Jack, I don't blame you. Let him figure it out on his own. He's a big boy. I mean, no, I am, Billy, no. And I'm very disappointed at you, Sally. Like, I'm very, very disappointed. Okay, let's not get off the topic for Sally for a moment, because with her and Audra, at some point in time, they, Kyle, if you will, approaches their table. This is because Kyle he himself was weary, wounded, and sad, and because he hasn't really been able to spend much time with Claire. Oh boy. Oh, I'll get into Claire shortly, because she just rattled my chain this week. Oh boy. Okay. So he tried to talk to her Claire, that is. And because he was with Victoria, had a little conversation with Victoria. Victoria was asking him how things are going with him and Claire. He's like, well, can't tell you that there's really anything going on. Whatever, blah, blah, blah. All right, fast forward. Claire kind of bumped him off because she came in with Holden, mind you. And yeah, fluffed Kyle off. Kyle left, and he ended up at, I think it was the Jazz Lounge, if you will, which is where Sally and Audra were. So he's sitting there having his little drinky drink. I want to say it was a whiskey neat. And he's just looking pathetic. Kyle, hold your head up, child, and just, oh, all right. So Audra sees him and she's like, look at him, just pathetic. And you know what? He's just drinking his sorrows away, blah, blah, blah. Well, Sally's like, Audra, maybe you need to apologize to him, give him a break, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, what? Why would I apologize to him? What? Okay, Kyle eventually goes over there, and says I'm sorry about what happened with Abbott Communications and the failed launch. My apologies. I'm sorry that happened. Well, it was the battle royale between Kyle and Audra right in front of every patron that was in the room. Oh boy, at one point in time, Kyle just shouted out and said, Audra, nobody cares about you. My gosh, I was like, well then. And he was like, what did he say? Something about you better go to hell or like, what? He just went off on her. I was like, oh boy. And she was like, bada bing, bada boom, bada bing, bada boom. And Sally's just sitting here like almost like it was a tennis match, and her head was like boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, oh boy, Kyle really got in some good ones there though. And he's like, look, you know what? Whatever, even though you see me here, doesn't mean that there's anything between, going awry with my relationship, blah, blah, blah. Well, Jack and Diane happened to walk in because he's like, oh yeah, Diane, thanks for wanting me to get out, take some time out, have a drink, blah, blah, blah. And they come in only to see Kyle and Audra going at it. I was like, whoa. And of course, never failing Diane with her facial expressions. She's like, and Jack's like, oh. She goes over there, Diane that is, to kind of break this craziness up. Jack had kind of, he asserted himself and basically was like, Kyle, he might as well have drug him by the scruff of his collar, but no. So anyway, Diane's standing there and she's talking to Audra and she's going at it with Audra. And Audra basically starts to bring up Diane's past. Okay, you know what? Diane has grown on me something serious because she makes me laugh. And I also think she's probably got the most sense out of a lot of them. Like, she asks the questions that people just gloss right over. So she's like, bang, bang, bang. Well, that didn't go very far where Audra was concerned. Like, she didn't really get a win. She tried, but that didn't work out in her favor. So Sally kind of almost was like holding her back. Like, you're going like into uncharted territory here. Don't do this. Okay. Basically, Jack had to calm Kyle down and, sober him up. I don't even remember him having that many drinks. I think he took a sip and he was drunk. I'm like, okay. So, yeah, Daddy, Mommy, and Kyle, they were off having their little conversation. And that was pretty much that. Later on, Sally and Audra had their little run, if you will, but that was Sally telling her about the whole, her with Billy and how he apologized, and nobody cares anymore about that. All right, on to the next. So we saw Michael with Lauren, and he surprised Lauren, which, by the way, side note, I really did like her dress. Not something that I probably personally wear, but I liked it on her. That black dress with I think there were lace inserts. I liked it on her. So, way to go, stylist. I really did. She looked really nice. So Michael surprised her with this dinner at Society. It was just the two of them. And basically Lauren was like, oops, what is going on here, Michael? Because anytime you do stuff like this, there's something that's, wrong. Like, you're trying to butter me up. Like, what is it? So eventually, after much prodding and from Lauren towards Michael, he just, albeit, let the cat out of the bag, and he said to her, that he got this job offer from Kane, and he's gonna try and, albeit, like, take Kane down. Good luck with that, Michael. Not to say that you couldn't do it, but you'd have to have some serious arsenal behind you in order to make this happen. Okay, being the Lone Ranger by yourself, I don't know. I figure he's gonna have to work somehow with Victor, even though Victor kind of was like, "You're a traitor. You know what? You're an idiot." He didn't say it in those words, but basically that's what he's telling Michael. Okay. So yeah, Lauren was not happy at all, and she just basically told Michael, like, this is madness, and no, I'm not having it. I am not putting up with this. Spoiler alert, for sometime next week, she basically tells Nikki that she's about had it up, you know, and she doesn't know basically if their relationship is going to survive this. Okay, here's what I'm going to say. Writers, please do not break up Michael and Lauren. You tried to do this once before. I don't think any of the viewers were happy. Like, none of us. So don't, no, leave them as a long-standing couple. I mean, I think they've, consecutively, like, probably lasted longer than Victor and Nikki. Because, again, they broke up, married other people, but Michael and Lauren, they've been a staple for years. I don't even remember when he proposed to her. So, like, oh, please do not ruin their relationship. Okay, that's your spoiler alert for next week. So, anyway, after that conversation, Michael dipped out. He went over to Kane's North American train, and Victor was sitting there like, blah, 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 blah. Because he basically says to Kane, like, let's get this going, because you know what, if you don't do what I've told you to do, I'm going to ruin you. That's basically what Victor said. In walks Michael, and yeah, there's some words exchanged between the two of them. And after Victor leaves, and basically saying to Kane that you're going to regret this, basically, I'm going to crush you. Kane, it didn't faze him whatsoever. I just don't like Kane. I don't like this new Kane. I really don't. I don't know if I ever will. I'm trying to give him a fair shot. But he's no Daniel Goddard as far as I'm concerned. So, what are you going to do? However, what I really don't like is not about Billy Flynn itself. It's about it's about his his character and his self-righteous attitude, where you mention anything about his personal life, this guy goes off. He's losing it like on anybody. My personal life is none of your business. I get it. I get it. Nobody wants their personal life to be anybody's business. I get it. But the way he goes around, like I say to people, you can say things, but it's the way you say it that makes a difference. Shame on you, Kane. Shame on you. So basically, he and Michael are having their little conversation, and Kane just, he's like sussing Michael out, and basically at the end of that conversation, he essentially gives Michael his walking papers before he ever really started. Is he gonna get paid for anything that he's done? I don't know. Well, Michael's like, oh, you're firing me. Okay. Yeah. So he's like, well, if I couldn't stop you from the inside to help you, like, not make a mistake, on the outside, basically, I'm gonna destroy you. Way to go, Michael. Again, Kane's like, I would never expect anything less. So we shall see. The only thing I want to know what Michael's plan is, because I can't figure that out quite yet. But we shall see. We saw Jill momentarily. I always like seeing her. To me, she brings a little fire to the show. And Jack was speaking to her and about Kane, and I don't know. Billy had walked in at that point in time. This is when he was going to ask for Jack's money again, and then Jack, said, not going to do it. So he was talking to Jill at the moment, and he cut the conversation with Jill. All right, so hopefully we should see Jill not behind a screen as it pertains to like a laptop, but that we will actually see her physical self back on the show, like walking, that kind of thing. What else? We saw briefly Nicholas. He had I don't even know why this was on. He had a conversation with Victoria about how he's gonna go, I think, to New York with Sharon to see Noah. As we know, Noah, who I can't remember who's playing him, he's going to be coming into the show. Guess there won't be any Allie, as I said, but hopefully they didn't break them up. Maybe she is just staying back wherever they were. Hopefully. Who else? What else did we see? I guess lastly, really, because this was, again, this week was just basically Kane and this whole Victor and okay, before I get into the last thing I want to talk about, one, we saw little Harrison come back. Thankfully, he is the same Harrison, and that he didn't somehow grow up older, at least for a little while. Let's keep him at, the same child. And then, what was the other thing that we saw? Okay, the fact that, no, let me get back to the last thing I was talking about, because I just, see, I lose my train of thought sometimes. That's what happens with me. Anyway, Claire, Kyle, Holden. Can we say this is a mess? It's a mess. Okay, I remember what I was going to talk about. Let me talk about it before I forget again. Sorry, people. Jack basically wanted to work along with Victor in order to take Kane down. There you have it. All right, so that's in deliberation. I just want to make sure that I remembered that. Okay, back to Claire, Kyle, Holden. Yeah. So Claire Claire is at this point right now where she feels that she's not worldly enough. That settling down, if you will, with the first person she's dated, like, that's not working for her. All right, let's just, mull over a few things, all right? Because this girl, she's just made me so annoyed this week. And she has a tendency to annoy me for sure. Okay, but this week, man, I tell you, I was screaming at the screen saying, Kyle, leave her. Okay, so she had this conversation. Well, she had already spoken with Holden. They had their little giggles. Holden invited Claire to LA, with him. And you could tell on the spot she wanted to say, let's go. But she was like, no. You caught me off guard. I'm still working things out with Kyle. I don't know where things are, but thanks for the invitation. Whatever. Okay, let's just say that happened. We should have just ended it there. Oh, no, not Claire. She ends up having a conversation with Mummy Dearest. This was the time when Kyle had been with Victoria at Society, and then he left. Claire and Holden had walked in together. I mean, okay. So they walked in together. Holden introduces himself to Victoria and, tries to charm her. Well, I guess it worked on Victoria a little bit. And she was like, oh, okay. Meanwhile, Claire's like this. Okay, like, you had just dusted your boyfriend and told him, like, after he asked you to have a conversation with him, you said, no can do. I got to discuss some things with my mom. And then she asked Holden to join them. What? Oh boy. Holden's like, no, I gotta go and do a couple things, sit down and blah, blah, blah before my trip. Okay, Holden is now within eyeshot at the bar, and Claire's like talking to, she's talking to Victoria about, she wants things to work out with Kyle, but she's not sure how she feels. Okay, Claire, dear, you're crazy. You are crazy. And I'll tell you why. Because here's how, in my opinion, it's going to go down. She's going to sit back, dipsy doodle with Holden. Holden is going to do something, probably something tricky, get her into a whole, set of mess. And then after she experiences Holden and his messiness, she's going to come crawling back to Kyle, and Kyle's going to be like, oh, no, don't know you. No. You had your opportunity. Be gone. And at that point, I wouldn't blame him. Because what does Claire do? She tells her mom, yeah, maybe I think I need to experience more. And she kind of alludes over, again, eyesight with Holden, like. And Victoria's like, well, he's a very handsome fella. He's, seems nice. And, doesn't Claire break up? This is eventually. She meets Kyle. I don't know if it was breakfast, whatever. I think it was breakfast because that's when little Harrison showed up, asked for them to take him to school, and it was like one little happy family. And When they got back, Claire basically told Kyle, yeah, I gotta bounce. I gotta go. And he's like, wait, what? Like, you you're breaking up with me? And she's like, well, I just feel like I need to experience more and, not settle down. And okay, this, this woman decides that after she leaves Kyle, she's all up in the park. Doesn't she call Holden? Yeah, is the invitation still open to go to LA? Can I go? Oh, what? I mean, you just broke up with it. Okay, I tell you, Kyle, listen. Leave her alone. She unfortunately is so damaged by her past that it's now wanting to trickle down into the present. Even, like it's like a faucet with a slow drip that just won't stop. And you don't need that, Kyle. I mean, you need to like relax yourself and stop talking about marriage and moving in and all those kinds of things. Just calm it down. But Claire, oh no, no. You need to. She's questioning you every second. She's constantly throwing in your face that she can't forgive you. We can't pretend like it didn't happen. She just goes on and on. And you're supposed to take that? You even told her that you don't know what else to do. Okay, here's some advice. If a woman is doing that, let her go. This is not a matter of, when people say, you have the last piece, and then it's supposed to be this crazy back and forth. No, you have the last piece. And then when the person who says, okay, the other person's now upset because that person said, okay, no, you see the signs, let her go. If it's meant to be for whatever reason, then it'll be. But other than that, cut her loose. Cut her loose. So yes, she made me very upset. And I feel like she's just going to make me even more upset this coming week. Just putting it out there. So that was pretty much that for the week. Not too much more, but we shall see what this week holds. So there you have it, folks. If you stuck around to the end of this video, I'm so grateful. I appreciate your time. I love you lots. And if you do like this type of content, you like what you see, you like what you hear, again, it would be so kind to hit that like and subscribe, and also share. Why? Because sharing is caring. I don't know what's going to happen this coming week outside of maybe my little spoiler alert. But let's hope for the best and see what happens. All right, guys, you take care.